Been warming benches for years. You think I'm here to
We're live.
I'm out here doing what I gotta do, enjoying
on
it.
the tubes.
I'm really hustling, grinding, and employing it. Your feathers rustling. Hey, my voice and all your
Yeah, busy day. Just letting Evan's song play for a little bit while I settle in. I had to slide in here right on time. You know, we say 2 o'clock, so
2-ish, 2 p.m.-ish.
That way you're
That's
in
what we
here.
say.
You know, we give you a couple of minutes to enter the premises, and then we'll all hang out together for a little bit. The Dream Show live from the Parkway Automotive Studios Wednesday. Was this September 1st?
It is September.
Today's
wow.
1st of September.
August flew by.
It's the 1st of the month.
We're on Brandon's channel for the first time today. We're simulcasting.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Simulcasting live on
it's BJJ 365, I think is what we're going to become a part of.
Okay, BJJ 365. We're one of the initial shows on this network idea, like an ESPN, hopefully, type play towards the jiu-jitsu scene to where it's, on YouTube and it's free like television, more so than everything behind like a $149 a year paywall that you must break through in order to see any content, even interviews or anything.
It's interesting. I mean, even ESPN's going behind somewhat of a paywall these days with ESPN Plus. I mean, are you still watching as much sports as you ever did, or were you ever much of a sports guy?
Before I started training and stuff, I was a huge football guy.
Right. Were you like a Sports Center guy?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would leave on the TV, I guess, playing a lot of times, and I would watch it to be up to date. Yeah, I guess so. Like everybody else, to the most part, you got to kind of pick your tribe or whatever and go along with whatever it is, But it was, football mostly, and then a lot of baseball as a kid. I never really got that much into basketball. I always thought it was cool, but I never had any pavement or concrete or whatever to play on. So I never got very good at basketball. So I didn't really get into it that much.
I was 2 years running most improved basketball player on my high school basketball team.
Hardest working guy.
Stat kept showing up.
He's just improving, man. Still 32 years in a row, most improved.
31, sir.
Oh, well, we're giving him credit for next year. I just got a feeling. Just got
to improve one more year.
That's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do. So I guess there's that. We're trying to do this thing and make it something cool. Well, it's already something cool. We're trying to make it something cooler, and spread it out, kind of like we did with the Mid-South, simulcasting on there. Just broaden everyone's kind of content horizons and just seeing what's going to happen, what can it hurt at the very least, we're doubling people's eyes and the ability to be out there and doing this thing. So upcoming news for me, I'll be in San Diego this weekend. Like Friday night, I'll be there for team training. And then Saturday, I'm teaching a donation-based seminar, 11 to 1. So whatever you can donate, if you want to donate or whatever, just come train. It'd be cool to come and train, see the people that I haven't seen in a while, and hopefully meet some new faces and stuff like that. It'll be cool to be back. It's been it's close to 2 years, a year and a half, I guess, at least, since I've been there. Pre-pandemic, that was the last time I was out there. So it's gonna be fun.
Was that the time I think that was the time I was out there when World? It's 2018, or did you go another time between? Yeah.
That must have been it.
Wow.
That must have been it.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just excited to go back and be back out there and be back in the room and feel the energy and it's really cool. And then the week after that in Wetumpka at Max, Cormac's Academy of Combat Sports.
Sounds right.
Got it. I think we're also doing that one 11 to 1 or 1 to 2. Yeah, I think it's 11. I don't know. I'll look it up. Y'all look it up. Hit me up. Hit them up.
But it's on Instagram. I believe it's on your Instagram.
Yeah, we'll be posting more about that for sure when I get on there. But that same weekend, there's the PGF qualifiers in Jacksonville, September the 11th, correct? So
yes,
hoping for a big turnout right there.
Jacksonville. I know I'm doing it. We got a couple guys doing it on our team.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. Got one of our guys that's gonna really be making a stab at making that weight for the first time in maybe his life. So yeah, just gonna let him go out there and experience life the way he wants to, you know, win or lose. I mean, basically the same thing with you, win or lose or whatever. I mean, you know what you're kind of getting into.
He's learning what he's getting into.
I say he's training hard. He's getting ready. Go out here and surprise some people. I mean, there's been other white belts that went in and done well.
Seth said he hasn't been that big since the 6th grade.
Yeah, I mean, like he hasn't been 170 since he was 170.
Talk about jiu-jitsu saved my life guy.
Yeah, man, big. He was a big guy. Turner. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about him honestly too much from before. He's been there for right at a year now, I guess, total.
I think he's in the day one-ish group.
Somewhere in there. He not right away. He came a couple months after, I think. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, as dedicated as anyone else is and works really hard. So I'm excited to see what happens. Like I'm excited to see where a lot of you guys are going to start going soon with the progress that I see, and if we keep tracking the progress the same way.
The room has jumped significantly recently.
I mean, yeah, I guess we kind of hit that like the stride a little bit more too. You know, we're kind of getting more experience. You know, the majority of the people now have a good solid year of stuff going on. I've tried to really like help direct it to where the motivation would stay high, which I think helps, is keeping motivation high for everybody. Because the grind will wear you out, right? That's like, oh, grinding. And that's okay, right? When you have something specific that you're like trying to get to, but that can't be the like operating like everyday kind of stuff. I think that doesn't leave you much room for improvement.
You burn out eventually.
Yeah, and you stop improvement at a certain point if all you're doing is grinding. It's kind of, I'm not sure where I heard this from. I honestly at the point, but just the phrase about just grinding. But you know, like if all you're doing is ever just like grinding on your blade, eventually you're just gonna wear it out. You know.
Because you're wearing away at it the whole time.
You can't just keep grinding. Sometimes you just got to polish it, which means putting like a soft touch on it and just cleaning up everything and getting the edges right. And I think that's as important, or maybe more important a lot of times, than the physical like rigor of training, right? There's a huge element of that. Obviously, like conditioning is important at the highest levels, of course, don't get me wrong. But that's what I like. I think peaking and like whatever that is, like pyramiding is what people would call it, maybe building up towards an event and then maybe tapering, I guess is a good way to say it too.
I've heard peaking, like
that's the way that I look
there's
at a bunch of ways.
I feel like I'm at my peak.
Because you don't want to give your best day to training. Like you don't want to hit it. You don't want to be your best 3 days before your competition in the training room and then just be flat on the training day because you push too hard right up until the day, you know, maybe
the day before or
so it's something like, you know, I've had instances where, and a lot of it is dealing with people needing to make weight. At least in my observation is that when people are really needing to make weight a lot, the conditioning level and everything, as far as like the level of training, is a lot higher at the end of the camp. Which typically should not be the case. Like towards the end, you should be not having to do a lot. But there's some people, and probably the professionals now. I don't know. I guess, like I said, I'm speaking from like an outsider's perspective and seeing people do it a bunch of different ways. So the professionals probably do a little bit better job of that, like real high tier professionals. But it's been my experience and seeing it, that people are doing way too much the day before a weigh-in. And then a lot of times people are fasting, to put it nicely, too much. And then there's a lot of people that are not getting enough water at the same time that they're doing all these things. And so that's just not good, like for your performance and stuff. So I think, I don't know how we really got off on that tangent. Overtraining too much, like trying to peak and so that's the thing. You can't just keep like grinding it out. At a certain point, you got to be able to sit and chill with it and like let your body heal and just be still and like ready. And I don't know,
the balance.
Yeah, I think that's what we've been trying to do. And we try to look out for each other and we try to like push each other, but nobody's really had a big thing going on, like except for with your stuff that we're pushing for. So there's been no reason to just be killing everybody every day. But when we do it, everybody's ready to go. Like it because it's the
edges are sharp or polished, like you were saying.
And they feel better every day coming in there. I think they show up in a little healthier space. When you feel good, you do better. When you're happy, you do better.
Yeah. So not when you're banged up.
Yeah, it's just like that's an element of it, right? Again, like that's an element of it, and I think everybody's dealing with that to their own degree. But yes, you can't make it all just like suffering. There's got to be a element of shared suffering where everybody's like building that team, strength and bonding and different things. But that doesn't have to be every day. Like I think that's the biggest thing, is that you can get that. But once you know who's tough and everybody knows who's tough, and that stuff's kind of been established a couple of times, you don't have to really like, unless things slide too far one way, out of bounds, you don't really have to go back to that kind of checking adults, or whatever to really try to get them back into a dedicated, like team oriented kind of space. I don't know. But yeah, I think I know that we're all trending in the right direction, picking up a lot of new information, like all the time. Everybody's going out trading in different places and stuff. So it's forcing everybody to stay like on the hunt, and trying to like improve themselves, both with their game, but then also just like with information. Like I have to go out and
that's what, like, as a coach, have you seen, I was just fixing to touch on the fact that like you've started covering some details and stuff that like you wouldn't necessarily like deem it your game or something that you would be like, oh, I met this guy, he's this. Like, I mean, specifically, I'm talking about legs. Like, have you seen a jump in your coaching and all that?
Well, yeah, because it's like I that's not the best part of my game, right? And so I tend to let other people teach that stuff when we're around.
But I mean, I've picked up some magnificent details from like your classes over the last month.
Like I know stuff. That's the thing, is like I feel like I understand it really well, but I never really sat down and went through it and got my own reps on it a lot. So it's hard to like demonstrate it fluidly without sitting down with it a couple of times, and then once I sit down, then I have, that's the thing, and then finding the right partner to go through the motions with, the right uke, sometimes is pretty crucial too. And then like, it's been, I don't know how many months now, but several months we've been talking about getting into it more, because guys were asking some specific questions about like K-guard and different things like that we have not went over yet. And so I was like, all right, I'll start looking to build what I think is the right kind of curriculum. And then got guys like Zach that we bounce back and forth, like stuff that I see and like what I present in class or whatever. He'll be like, well, what do you think about this? And then it's like, well, this, I like that, don't like this, and then other people come into class. And like I said, we've got guys like Taylor who are training at other places, and he's out there bringing in other like entries and positions and tools and Jimmy's coming over, stuff. We got a lot of different people bringing their own perspective to the room. And so I think we're getting a lot of like real like ideas set out in time instead of just trying to just follow a set path. We're working on a lot of like there's a lot of paths, right? And that's we do a good job of that in a lot of other things. But truthfully, I never sat down enough in my leg game to be the best leg attacker, right? I got pretty good at defending and evading
and getting out
yeah,
and going and running away. Yeah.
Knowing how to engage and pass and different things like that, because I wanted to pass. I wanted to get on top. I wanted to smash, catch the stuff that I like that. So I didn't want to, I don't want to say waste the time, but as a competitor, I didn't want to waste the time that I had left right there trying to like reinvent myself and my game.
You were in the MMA world too at that point, right? Or
for a lot of it,
when you're in the grappling world.
Well, yeah, but it's still, I guess that was basically the same thing up until like the last 2 years that I was in San Diego. Maybe 2 years is too long too. Maybe I was only not fighting for a year when I don't know how the timeline really goes. But I was still teaching MMA too, so I was still having to I was still having to keep that like mindset of the MMA mindset, even though I wasn't necessarily like fighting. And then I don't know, you like what you like, right? So it takes a little bit of time for things to come through. And like of the time that I had, the tools that I could sharpen the best, learning how to engage and defend was going to be the best thing instead of learning how to sit down and just like start leg pummeling with everybody to try to win a leg pummel battle. Because I just kind of, I had started behind the 8 ball. I was from the old school ish way where people didn't let you do your leg locks until you were an advanced rank or whatever. So like I didn't have as much knowledge as lower rank guys did on some of that kind of stuff. So I just leaned into what I knew, which was really good guard passing. And so I would invite them into some of their entries, and then I learned how to start passing off of much of the entries that people can do unless they were really good, and if they're really good, then they could catch me. But it pretty rare. Twice in competition that I could think of. Once I really like got up to a higher level, I got heel hooked. Like I got submitted a couple of other ways, but I don't think I was ever really heel hooked twice. I guess leg locked is what I would say. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. If somebody else did besides Jesse Children or Elijah, let me know.
I'm pretty sure that's a list, because there are 2 you're better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you're gonna get hooked, that's somebody who's gonna rip it off.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So there's guys in the room like training partners that could catch me and things like that. But in competition, I don't think anybody else did. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
What's your take on them now? Like, is it one of those?
I like it. I thought it was useful and like good practice for other people, and it would have been good practice for me. Like I said, had I had the base for it. And I think honestly, I was on a grappling discourse with Scaff yesterday. I think it came out today. And we were talking about some stuff. And like, honestly, a lot of it too was like, I was trying to learn rubber guard a lot of that time. And so I wasn't really spending the time in the leg locks because I wanted to develop a really serviceable rubber guard.
Right.
And so I spent a lot of time in my free time, like working on trying to figure that out too. So there was just like so many things that I thought I could get better at that would be better for me personally than it was to get heavy into the legs. And so now with all of our students, and we see the way that the competition field goes. With it being so allowed at lower levels, everybody's got to know it now. You've got to know how to play that interplay, or you're just not going to make it to the highest levels.
I saw a guy took a guy to a new breed 3 weeks ago or something like that he tore through everybody with a straight ankle, and people were surprised that he knew the straight ankle, and I was like, really?
I think there's still a lot of people that are kind of doing the fundamentals the way that they kind of always have done the fundamentals, and still like presenting most people with the same beginner principles and everything, which is what it is. You know, it's not saying it's right or wrong, but then you run into someone like Todd who has that one leg entanglement, and they're just going to clip those guys that don't know. And so that's the thing now. Kind of like the blue belt 155ers that we had. Now those guys are really good and have since gotten their purple belts. But the finalists basically just like heel hook their way against each other at blue belt all the way through, and then Chase even just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you know, what was that? 45 seconds.
A combined
collective,
minute.
Even with high fives and fist bumps included.
and you know, so it's like, well, we talk about efficiency in action, right? And we want to, if we're going to compete, then we want to win. And so then what is going to be the best way to win? Maybe right now it's seeming like still like in this area, leg locks are still not as widespread as everywhere else, or at maybe the bigger metropolitan areas, I would guess to say.
Even then, I mean, you go to Atlanta, you go to any of the tournaments, Atlanta, the guys you just named off are wrecking those tournaments.
I guess if it's like allowed,
they're
right?
The
that's
same
the
guys.
thing. If it's
well,
legal,
allowed,
if it's legal, then that's where it's going to be the best. And
what's your take on it being illegal?
It just depends on where you're at. I
mean, what's your personal take? I guess
I'm okay with it being legal. Yeah, pretty much. And
anything and everything.
Yeah, I mean, mostly even for white belts. Honestly, I don't think other than like the really like brutal fouls, like the orifice attacks, stuff like stuff like that.
Yeah. Vicious.
Yeah, I think any joint attack is legitimate that you can do, so it should be legal. You know, if they're going to compete, you know, but then I guess at the same time, then you eliminate like a portion of the people who would show up to tournaments. And so then the people who need to make money off of tournaments won't have them, because then they won't be able to make money to like put on the tournaments.
There's like bumper rails for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You know, I guess that's a good way to put it. And so it's not wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's not wrong to give people access to the sport and the chance to compete. And
rule set determines the fight,
and they grow into it maybe to where they learn more stuff and they can defend that, you know, because then you run into the guy that knows what he's doing, and this guy just spins out and obliterates his own leg because he doesn't know what he's doing. I think that's the main reason I would be okay with it being like a foul, or not a foul, but illegal in white belt competitions, or
just they don't understand
very basics, 0 to 6 months or something like that at least. Well, yeah, because they just may. Like, you can really ruin yourself.
Maybe that guy shouldn't be competing though.
But I agree. And so that's what I say. But then that's a 0 to 6 month kind of bracket.
Okay.
And so then as a tournament, do you need those?
I mean, personally, I'm telling the guy that's like, you know, 4 months in, hey man, hold off till you got a few more to handle the basics. But then again, who am I to get in the way of a bad idea?
Right.
And I mean, at that point, if he's that good, then
if they're good,
or she, I'm saying if whoever's good enough,
whatever your preferred pronoun. I'm not here to judge that today. Yeah, you could choose to compete or not. I competed like 3 weeks in and lost 0 to 2 on points. Or whatever.
I mean,
so
my little sister Becca competed in like 21 days in.
That's 3 weeks.
Yeah, math.
It's a science.
Time's relative.
So yeah, so like I got no problems with it, but I think it's useful, and I want our guys seem to be, and guys meaning all peoples, seem to be interested in it, and I don't know, it's giving me something to study and like break apart again in a new way. So it's fun to go through it and add it to our game, because I want you guys to go out there and compete and be.
So you're learning as a coach. Like these guys learn right alongside you.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually, because I know, like, I know what I like to do.
Right.
I know what I like a lot. And then sometimes people just can't do it that way, or, you know, it's just the way that the body works, one body to the other body. It's like, man, this is strangely not connecting. You know, what can we do to make, you know, this stuff connect better? And so then maybe we change a little bit.
How do you remove yourself as a coach from like being your body type? Like how you teach for, say, somebody who's a third of your size?
I ask them what they feel, what they think, and what, like, it, like when they're with their partner or whatever, you know, and like ask their partner, what do you know, what would you think in this scenario right here when they, you know, are doing stuff? And if it seems okay, then it's just kind of, oh, I guess that's okay. Yeah, you know, like I would, and I still lean on that. This is what I would probably do myself. I prefer or would like, you know, this is what I'm looking for.
We had that conversation last night about, like, you were asking me if that hurt my knee, and then I figured out that your position worked better because of what you were doing, because you're like, my knee, it hurts my knee, but it didn't hurt my knee, but like the position worked better
right
when I did it the way that you were talking about. And I was like, oh, okay. But you approached it from like where I was positioned, and so it made sense to me.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, is that because I wasn't sure either, though, because I didn't know if you had seen something and you were sitting down that way to make your lock.
It was what was comfortable to my leg.
Right. And so sometimes that's good, you know, and so sometimes that's all you need, is like you get it and it's comfortable to you. And then, but what I just, through me playing with it, anytime I would do what you were doing, it just kind of hurts my knee and like my hip and stuff. It just doesn't feel comfortable to me. And so once I started changing like the orientation of my foot, I felt like it gave me a better like lock. And
that's, as soon as I did it your way, I was like, oh, that is a better lock.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't, I didn't feel the tendency until like seeing that from your point of view and taking the time to explain it that way was like,
I think that's the biggest point, is trying to sit down and figure it out. And like I was almost willing to just like walk away right there, right before you know, you kind of like hit it again, and just like, oh, okay. And I was like, I mean, if you're comfortable right there, I didn't see an issue with it.
Right.
And if it felt fine to you and I couldn't see anything wrong with it, what am I going to tell you, you know, about that? Maybe just because I like, that's the thing I have to say about people with me. Just because you know, you can't do it, don't mean I can't do it, you know, or just vice versa. You know, you can't just tell me your way, because I may not physically be able to do it the way you're able to do it. So I think body types matter a lot. And I don't mean weight classes. I think people get too caught up in pounds on the scale or whatever. I think everybody's like, oh, you guys weigh 170 pounds a piece. That's a weight class. But then you get guys like that Scarecrow of Doom guy. Right. And then you get guys like Randy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
completely different body types,
but they weigh the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but then they don't do the same jujitsu. They can't physically. So you can't sit down and tell everybody you have to do it this way. Like a lot of people can do it that way, but like specifically it doesn't work like that. And like some people aren't, with short little thick legs, not going to be triangle machines. It's just not going to be what they do, you know? So you got to kind of play to your athlete's attributes. And if you see something is different for them, or like, for instance, I guess with Becca, she's very small. She's 5'1", and her foot is small. Her legs are kind of short for most of the people that we roll with. And like people that are lighter still have a hard time like getting control of her foot and leg and her shoulders, even, and arms, because
Everything's so narrow.
there's not as much to hold on to.
Yeah, you have to be super,
Like,
super.
and she knows how to like just right, exactly. And so like a few times, I'm like, I've already went through this stuff with someone else, like on how to trap Becca's foot. So I kind of got it, sort of, right? And so I just was like, yeah, you just kind of do this. But then the other person, Alyssa, for example, they're both females, but maybe they're not the right like matchup to be.
Same thing, different body types.
Yeah, just different body
Like,
types.
yeah,
Alyssa's taller, got bigger legs and feet, you know, she's longer. So it's like it just doesn't quite easily match up. But then once we finally got Alyssa to like the understanding of what, like how to get the foot stuck and then how to like start moving through it, then she could start getting it. Is she gonna ever really high level at catch Becca? Maybe not, because it's gonna be super hard for her to catch that. But unless she does,
so
like
then that comes to
tons,
choosing plays,
that,
right?
then she has to choose to do the reps to get the control to get that. And then that's the individualized stuff that you got to kind of come up with on your own. Good leg lock people, they're going to catch Becca just like anyone else, because they understand where to bite, control,
do all
the
right
kind of things like that. But if your leg is really big around, it doesn't fit like in the bends, right? Because there's not any space to do that anymore. And so you can't get everything. You can't have the knee line and a big ass like.
What's your answer to doing like leg locks to just like a phenom, just like a mutant?
I mean, you just got to have them pinned. I think
it's the angles.
Everybody's gonna break. Like if you have it mechanically like in the correct things, it should break. Like now, if they just have you just way outsized, maybe it doesn't. Like that's the thing. Maybe it doesn't work then. You know what I mean? I think the only thing that's foolproof is choking somebody out
unconscious. Yeah.
And then the only choke that I've seen, and it's not 100% right, I guess, but is like a rear naked of some sort, is like where you can be behind them and you can wrap your arm all the way around their neck. Most people can fit around most people's necks to a degree, but then you get those Ninja Turtle dudes who you just there's no neck. So then what do? Like I've had to grapple those guys before, and I had to like calf crush a dude, my first ever like truck roll calf crush.
Have you seen that no neck guy? That's like the internet guy with the like from his ears to his shoulders. Yeah. So like how do you choke that guy?
I spent 3 minutes trying to get him tired so I could choke him. I got his back, and then I almost got tired trying to like get my arm around his neck. And I was just like, well, I guess this is the time to try some of that stupid leg stuff, and hit the truck roll from Turtle very poorly and finish the calf slice on the guy. I was like, oh.
So there is a time and place for truck rolls from turtles.
From everywhere. From everywhere. There's a time and place for everything, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and so that's why you got to leave the possibilities open. Like there's always best practice, right? There's always like a simple answer to most problems. And so what I want everyone to do is I need you to be able to figure out how to like hit that Occam's razor to figure out what the simplest answer is for you in that moment. Because what I see as the simplest answer may not always be what you physically can do in that moment. So
yeah, like Kirby said, like chess.
It's weird. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, everybody that plays chess. People say that a lot. Like I understand the strategy.
Do you not play chess?
No. Like Like
really?
Yeah.
I would have pegged you for a chess guy. Honestly, like I would have thought you were a chess player.
I haven't sat down. I probably could. Like I get strategy. That's what I'm saying. Is like I understand some of the strategy.
It's plays,
but I don't know how the pieces move enough to really like. I haven't sat down and like.
I think your brain could do
studied. Yeah. I mean, I would
on
just
one of these
study.
long trips. I'll sit down and play with you.
Nah, I'm all right. I don't.
You don't even want to try to play.
I mean, I do it every day. Like people say, this is just chess, and it's like, all right, cool.
All right, cool. I'm just doing chess in real life.
I just do it. You know, I like checkers a lot.
Oh, come on now.
I do like checkers.
Oh, come on now.
It's simple. It's very simple.
I mean, that's why it's chess, not checkers.
Right.
Okay. You might have just lost some viewers.
I don't care. Y'all overcomplicate stuff.
Okay, yeah, true. Touche. They say 3D chess would actually be easier than chess itself.
So I don't know. Just you put limits on yourself when you make people only be able to do certain moves. And I think that's what chess does. This person can't move but this way or that way, and this person can do all these things. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can get behind that. Like, I understand soldiers and war and all that kind of stuff.
But like your shoulder can only move in certain directions. So you are limited by your physical being, correct?
But what if I don't have that right hand?
Exactly.
Right.
So now you're limited by that. So now you lost your pawn.
But then you're playing the game against somebody who already has, you're always starting off with equal attributes.
Right.
In chess. That's not jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I get the strategery
there.
side of it, but it's it changes dynamically, like opponent to opponent, in a way that it's not just moves that are different.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
people are different too.
The play, yeah, like
the place, the setting, the rules.
Yeah, everybody, they're making different plays, and you could have studied all the greats.
Have you ever played Go?
Opening place? I don't even know what that is. No.
It's like
fast chess.
No, it's like a Chinese version of like a game where it's like got all the rocks, and it's like a big board that's in a design, and there's like divots, and you move your rocks around.
Oh, like is that Chinese checkers?
I don't know. I think that's entirely different. I think.
Sounds like the same.
But there's like a pattern on the board that I can't remember if it's like a square or whatever, and each like you have like black and white little rocks, and like they all spread out in a certain way, and there's like thousands of different options. That's probably more along the lines of what you're talking about, because there's like
random
endless opportunities.
Yeah, because it's random, and then it changes. Like once you make a chess move, it's kind of set. You can't like retreat very easily, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you can, but it doesn't. I don't know. Is that true? I don't know. That's it. I don't know.
No.
I don't know enough about it, but I know that people say it's chess. It's like chess, and I get the setups, but a lot of times I'm trying to set up certain things, but if they're not doing the move that I need to set it up, how can you physically force them to do that movement that you want? Or is it that everybody will just flow to where you want them to go if you hit the right spots?
If you do the right movements or patterns, is that what you're saying?
I'm asking, yeah, I guess. Is there a possibility that you can just go in and just say you're going to hit the right buttons every time and make this certain play every time?
Well, I mean, to argue that would be, I mean, that's what Gordon Ryan has done a couple times, right?
But I don't know if he went like, so that's the thing is like, he's kind of called his finish.
So that's the right number of okay. So you're saying, could he go in and say, I'm going to enter this way, I'm going to sweep him, I'm going to go around his back, and then I'm going to choke him? That would be what you're saying. Like
Right.
You could call your shot for shot, like pool.
Because from my limited understanding of chess, isn't that how it kind of starts? Is that people have certain like beginnings, and then that's how it kind of starts. Is like,
yeah, there's like
like an opening sequence tells me, okay, you pull guard, and so like I'm gonna pull, whatever. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I haven't spent the time studying chess because I've studied a bunch of
what
other
everybody
stuff.
calls you.
Yeah, I guess human chess, human cockfighting.
Yeah, like you're developing the pieces and you're doing things, and you put them. You never move the same piece. You move your castle. Like there's certain like rule sets that you go by that you're not like that you don't break, and those are like, from my understanding, I'm what I would call a purple belt in chess. Like I know all the moves, I know how to do all the crazy stuff, and I know how to like do it, but I couldn't tell you the name of it. I couldn't tell you why I'm doing it. I just know the patterns. But like one of my earliest memories was learning how to play chess. So I love playing chess.
I mean, I get it.
I play on my phone all the time.
You want to like trap their king.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's a goal, there's a finish, there's
no more moves they can make, and they're stuck. Basically, they have to give up. And I get it. It can happen from a bunch of different ways, and it's not just like checkers where you got to like take everybody off the board. In chess, you only got to take the king.
Yeah.
So it's I get that.
That's a go board on the screen. That's like where it's got all the different things. If you just like type in Go game on Google, it pulls up like this board with a bunch of like black and white little pebbles and like squares, and there's like thousands of different opportunities and like all kinds of things to be able to do your different movements. And I think it's like the final thing is to have
play Scrabble
to where the other guy can't play. You play Scrabble?
Yeah, I play Scrabble. Pretty good. Pretty good at Scrabble. Trying, hey, I'm not good at that old Go or that chess. Yeah, but it is what it is. Let me get this Zephyr Hills off over here. They're not paying us anything.
They're not paying us anything.
No free advertising. It's weird to see myself over here. Yeah. So strategy wise, though, I think it's more easy. It's been proven to be more efficient as of late to enter people's legs and start to get towards finishes. I do not think it's too dangerous for people who are going to go compete to do heel hooks or leg locks or reap the knee or any other part of jiu-jitsu.
No reason not to train day one guy.
Might as well.
How to do a heel
Might
hook.
as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
you're going to teach him an armbar.
I mean,
if he's there on armbar day,
you got to break a guy's shoulder or his elbow or whatever in theory on all these other days. So if you can understand, like going through it with control and teaching everybody how to move through the control points of everything, it's the same thing. The same thing. And so you don't go out there repping arm bars and just start yoking your boy's arm bar while you're going on it, right? And so it's the same thing with the legs, but I think people are just so like worried about their own leg a lot of times that they hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So you just got to keep it chill and let everybody know it's safe and nobody's going to hurt you, and like just go through the motions, right? Teaching them, like you got to go with the dance, or that's when it's going to hurt you. You know what I mean? You got to just stop resisting.
Stop resisting. Pop.
Yeah. What time is it?
We're right at 40 minutes. You're at like 2:45.
40 minutes. Okay, hold on one second.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on things? We
definitely
went off talking about leg locks.
Yeah, I was gonna
shenanigans.
Kind of open with this. Is Instagram on this thing right here?
What do you want? Instagram to pull up for you to see or for the people to see?
Just for the people to see.
The people can't see it.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone look up Tex_Jitsu. That's who's hosting the raffle for Zach Edwards. And if anybody, unfortunately,
what was that again? Is it
Tex_Jitsu on Instagram? There's a fundraiser that was started, and there's several really, really cool prizes that are out there. And like it started to get donations to the GoFundMe for Zach Edwards, and a lot of people are donating to the GoFundMe. We think through the raffle idea, but they're not turning in their like donation to him for the raffle. And so there's a lot of really cool prizes that like literally nobody's going to hardly win because there's just not as many people turning in their notice that they donated to the thing. So if you're donating, even if you're doing it from the kindness of your heart, try to just go take one of these prizes that's in this raffle at the very least. And if you guys haven't heard about the raffle, go jump in that, donate to the GoFundMe for Zach Edwards, who passed away throughout the night yesterday. I guess it was yesterday, right? Or the day before.
It's been a blur because I saw it and it was so quick.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday actually, and that was strange. So it was really fast from February, man. Like we were just in the PGF and stuff
we're
like
competing
that.
right
just
with him.
Throwing down, man, and like, I a lot of people have sent me like condolences and stuff, and I appreciate that. And like Zach was my buddy and my friend and stuff, but I don't want to act like we were like more friends than other people or anything like that. We're homies. And I definitely, feel, sad about the situation and stuff. So I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but like, just through the time that we got to know Zach through the Mid-South, he drove like 14 hours through the night to that one.
Dude rolled out of his car and
went to the bathroom, jumped in literally and got in. And I was just like, all right, man, this is kind of cool. Reckless to a degree, and I'm not sure what to think of it. But then he came in and like he threw down, and I was like, dang, this is really cool, really, really cool. And so we kind of struck up a relationship from there and like stayed in contact through each other. And then when he like showed up to the PGF for season 2, I was like, we talked about it before, but like he was one of the people that I was most afraid of going into the tournament because of his skill set with his leg entanglements and how dangerous he was, because we've seen him devastate several people, in his career.
In that career, I mean, he found success quickly.
Definitely, man. And like at a high level, too. And he beat lots of really good people. And so like, I don't know, man, it was cool to be able to be at the PGF with him and to get to know him on a more personal level, a little more close. I hate, maybe that he was already going through some things and no one knew. It's something that I've kind of went back to a couple of times. Maybe that could have been part of what was wrong with his back a little bit too. Some of what, I don't know, man. But it's a bummer. But I think, what I want to take from it the most is the same thing that I kind of try to take from many of these situations is to go ahead and like do the thing. Like do what it is that you want to do. Like there's no reason to like really wait. There's nobody better than you that can do what you want to do. The timing, there's no better timing or because you don't know how fast things can happen, especially with like all the craziness in the world right now with COVID stuff, and then the violence everywhere, and stuff like that. Like you never know, man. And it's kind of weird getting older and seeing a lot of people start passing away that are pretty close to your age, and then everything, and seeing some people struggle with this stuff, probably maybe for one of the first times in their life, losing somebody really, really close to them that was really, really important to them. And it sucks, man. And it can make you kind of want to go to a dark place. A lot of times if you don't try to look for the better side of everything, like you literally got to look for like the better outcome on everything that's left, no matter what, and that's a big reason that I am the way I am, man. And I don't talk about it a ton, but my mom passed away right after my 3rd birthday and stuff like that. So like death and loss has kind of been like something that's been a part of my life, my whole life from my earliest memories. So I've always kind of appreciated stuff like that, like not things, but like people and like my family and my community and my tribe or whatever, and again, that's a big part of the reason why the gym is the way it is, super inclusive to where everybody can get their shot, because damn it, you don't know, man. Nobody knows. You can be super healthy. You can be kicking everybody's ass, climbing up towards the top of the top level. And then all of a sudden it could just be taken away from you, in various ways. And so we just got to focus on that kind of stuff, man. We got to really focus on trying to be better to each other, and I understand having to do what you got to do to bad people and getting bad people out of their positions. Right. And I think that's part of taking care of people and each other is really looking out for each other and making sure that bad people aren't in charge and that they're not able to get by with ruining people's lives, and that's a whole different bunch of tangents that we could get down. That's not for this show. So I mostly wanted to say, if you can go to that text_jitsu on Instagram page, donate through to the GoFundMe for Zach and his family. I can't imagine how much money all this stuff probably had to cost over.
Yeah, his
the last
death
6
is
months,
expensive.
and,
Death
like,
is expensive.
It just, and so just anything that could probably help out and cover that gap would be really cool. And then there's really good prizes from several rash guards, and then one of the tickets that someone had to drop out from the camp for. I don't get, they can have it. You know, if somebody puts in a ticket that they donate to the GoFundMe, one of the training spots for Costa Rica, we threw it in there. Just because I wasn't really trying to hustle it to sell it anyway. I was kind of just, I'm over that a little bit. Yeah, so I hate to kind of like put that little like damper. I wanted to do that in the beginning, so maybe we could like.
That's not a damper. I mean, he lived.
You know?
I mean, the dude was living.
I know, man.
To the
I
end,
guess so.
like I saw him out there. I mean, and it was. I mean, like we said, it was fast. I mean, he was doing a competition in February, so
he did a couple more after that too. I believe, you know. So,
dude was a warrior to the end.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing, you know, and seeing the outpouring of love that everybody had for Zach and the way they remember Zach it's inspiring, you know, and that's the kind of thing. I think that's the kind of thing I want to be able to do and have as people that, you know, really can look back and feel like I did help affect their life in a positive way, as many times as I possibly can, as many people as I can. That's my hope, and I hope that more people start looking at the world that way instead of trying to just take things because they feel, you know, maybe they feel like life is short, so they just got to take everything from everybody else because it doesn't matter. But I think it's like always the inverse of everything could always be true. And so I think if there was there is a better way, but obviously with so many billion people trying to network together, it's just hard to get all that stuff going down.
They're selling t-shirts too. Mandy said virtual hug, but they have they're selling hoodies and t-shirts too.
Okay, yeah. So there's a Matt Viper hoodie, and then I think there's a new like memorial t-shirt.
There's a t-shirt. There's a memorial t-shirt. There's this one in a different design, and then a memorial t-shirt. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can reach out and help him out.
Yeah, and so like I say, unfortunately, we were trying to do all this stuff while he was still here, and I'm glad that he got to see this love because I think a lot of people don't get to see that while they're alive, you know, especially people who pass suddenly. So I hope that he really did get to feel the love from everybody and knew
I think
how
he
much he meant to everyone that he came across. So yeah, other than that, man, y'all love your people, man. Just love everybody. Everybody love everybody. All right.
Everybody love everybody.
Peace.
Sign up for my Kajabi.
Oh yeah. If you want to give me money, you can, but I don't really care. Not today.